Welcome to Short Take Saturday, a Sunday edition of Short Take Saturday, believe it or not. Was at the Cavs game, lost my voice a little bit, so probably wasn't the best idea to do a video yesterday. But having said that, getting a little bit back of that voice, I'm going to bring you my predictions for the AFC and NFC championship game. Of course, the Cavs, before we move on to football, they lost 2 games to the Houston Rockets and one to the Philadelphia 76ers. Am I concerned? Not really, and I'll explain all that and a lot of the latest news on Tuesday's edition of Raw Takes with Andrew Hody. But let's get to today's predictions for the AFC and NFC championship games. We'll start off with the NFC. This is the game I'm not as excited about, but I think it'll still be a good game either way. Philadelphia and Washington. I like the Commanders to make it tough. I don't like them to win the game. I think they make it tough. I think we see McLaurin get a touchdown. I think we see Zach Ertz get a touchdown. I think Jaden Daniels has an incredible game again. I think Philly's defense they have their hands full with Jaden Daniels playing quarterback. So I think that's going to be a big thing going into the first game. But Philadelphia has one weapon in particular I don't want to face, and that's Saquon Barkley. So I think Saquon Barkley is going to take care of business for the Philadelphia Eagles this upcoming game today. I think that Jalen Hurts is going to have a nice day as well. So I like the Eagles to advance to the Super Bowl. I'm rooting for the Commanders, though. The Commanders are just so fun. They're a great story. Jaden Daniels is having an incredible rookie season, probably the best rookie season of any quarterback in NFL history. If he ends up getting to the Super Bowl, though, with a win today over the Eagles, then I will feel really happy for the Commanders because they not only just exceeded expectations this season, but they essentially make history with the first rookie quarterback to play in a Super Bowl. So that would be really, really cool. But having said that, though, I just think Philadelphia is too good, and I think they know how to run the football. So I think we're going to see the Eagles in the Super Bowl. And then the deciding game between the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, this is probably the new edition of the game. And I know the game is Ohio State and Michigan, but I mean, over the last few years, Buffalo, Kansas City, this has been the moment. Buffalo's always fallen short. They have an opportunity to kind of change history a little bit here today. Will they? I'm not so sure. And I was looking at the statistics. Josh Allen in the playoffs, he's only lost to 3 quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, obviously the most. And then Joe Burrow and Deshaun Watson each once. And of course, this is Deshaun Watson's Houston days, not Cleveland days. That's a story we don't need to talk about right now. But having said that, Buffalo, they're fun. I think they're actually the better team between them and the Kansas City Chiefs. On paper, I really do. But having said that, Kansas City, they've been the better team all season long, not just in terms of their record, but in terms of the fact that calls go their way a little bit. And I think we saw that blatantly in that game against the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans not outscored them, obviously, but they outdid their offensive performance. And I think we saw with some of the officiating that ended up costing the Houston Texans, not the Kansas City Chiefs. Having said that, though, as I mentioned in my last edition of Raw Takes, I don't like to use the officiating as an excuse for why teams didn't win. And I think the officiating helped Kansas City win. I'm not saying Kansas City won because of the officiating. I think it helped them win. But I think officiating is, from what it looked like, if it's anything like it was in that game against Houston, and even Troy Aikman pointed it out on the broadcast, but like if it's anything like it was in that game against Houston, Kansas City is going to win this game. But that doesn't mean that Buffalo doesn't need to show up. Last year, Buffalo blew their opportunity to beat Kansas City. Kansas City last year should have lost to Buffalo, honestly. They really should have. But Tyler Bass, missed some field goals. And so that ended up costing the Buffalo Bills in hindsight. So I think the Buffalo Bills ultimately are the better team, but will they end up with the W today? I do not think so. I just think there is too much that leans towards Kansas City's way, not just in terms of the officiating, but in terms of how they finish games. And their 2 losses this season, one was a blowout to the Denver Broncos at the end of the year that meant nothing, and was to the Buffalo Bills. So the Buffalo Bills in the regular season know how to take care of the Kansas City Chiefs. But this has been their kryptonite in the postseason. Are they going to be able to combat it? I don't know. I think Buffalo is going to have a high-powered offense today. I think we see them kind of plow through KC's defense, and Kansas City's defense has kind of been the reason they've been winning the last 2 years, to be honest with you. So I think they plow through KC's defense a little bit, but it's going to be really tough for them to win this game, especially in a venue like Arrowhead. I'm going to take Kansas City to win that game overall. As I said, I think on paper Buffalo's the better team, but just given history, just given officiating, just given how Kansas City has had more clutch wins this year than Buffalo, I think the Kansas City Chiefs end up taking care of business against the Buffalo Bills. So my final scores, I'll go Philadelphia 31, Washington 20. I know, I'll go 31-27. I think that's going to be a much closer game. And I'll take Kansas City 20-17 over Buffalo. I think it's going to be going down all the way to the fourth quarter, but Kansas City just proves to be a little bit better. So Kansas City 20-17 over Buffalo, and Philadelphia over Washington 31-27, and a little bit more of a high offense powered game. That's my thoughts on the AFC and NFC championship. Stay tuned for Tuesday's show. We're going to discuss a little bit about new Browns offensive coordinator Tommy Rees, the Detroit Lions coaching staff essentially getting dissembled, but can Dan Campbell recover from that? I think so. And some of these coaching hires. Ben Johnson now with the Bears. You look at some of the other hires like Liam Cohen to the Jacksonville Jaguars after he was going to originally stay in Tampa Bay. Aaron Glenn to the New York Jets. That's kind of a weird one, but someone's going to have to take that New York Jets job. We'll discuss all that on the next edition of Raw Takes with Andrew Hody, and more on the Cleveland Cavaliers as well, and their recent rough stretch, and a little bit more on the NBA. Have a good one, everybody. Enjoy the games today, and I'll see you on Tuesday.